Commissioner Kennedy,
Here.
Commissioner Glasscock,
Here.
Commissioner Hellman,
Here.
Commissioner Rothrop,
Here.
Vice Chairman Camilla,
Present.
Chairman Garrison.
Present. Thank you very much. You've been given the minutes for the regular meeting of February 23rd, 2026. Did anybody have any corrections or modifications that they saw that they would like corrected? If not, we'll accept a motion to, we'll take a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I move to accept the minutes as presented. Thank you.
Second. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Thank you very much. Informational reports and updates before we get to staff. We're going to go back, when I got on P&Z way back, they had a system where the vice chair made the motions. And that was done specifically so that they were put into the record correctly, because sometimes there's some technicalities to the way they're written, and we want to make sure they're read and reported as written so that we don't have any problems going forward. So we're going to go back to that system. If anybody has any problems or confusion or some questions, feel free to let me know, and we'll see what we can do to work it out. But otherwise, it flows pretty easy. So we'll have the vice chair make the motion, and then anybody can make the second off of that. And then if we have any problems, we can bring that up in questions before we call for the vote. Do we have any reports today?
Good morning, Commissioners, or good afternoon, Commissioners. The only report that I have is the design standards that were previously presented to you and then subsequently adopted by the City Council, became effective last Friday. So we have those on our website along with the design standards. So I just wanted to let you guys know that we have that up and ready to go.
Great. Is it the council will be looking over the zone change that we recommended last month? Is that correct?
So there's two projects that are going forward to City Council. One is the general plan amendment and zone change, and then one is the standalone zone change. And those are scheduled for tomorrow's meeting. We did get a request to hold the standalone zone change. That's the one for the future affordable housing project. So it's not anticipated that that application will be discussed tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Do you typically need somebody there to talk for the commission to the council if they have any questions, or how do you deal with that?
I'd ask legal, but typically we don't need anybody from planning and zoning. The recommendations they could watch online. We also share what was discussed at those meetings and let them know what we've heard and what the discussion was at Planning and Zoning Commission.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. No other reports or updates. We'll move on to new business. Consideration of approval of DR 26005, design review for Horizon Apartments, located west of West State 89A, approximately 250 feet north of the Black Hills Drive-In West State Route 89A roundabout, on APN 406-32088.
Thank you, Chair and Commission. I'm Connor Bustamante, planner with Community Development, presenting on Design Review 26005 for the Horizon Apartments. The request tonight is approval for a design review for an 8-unit multi-family development. We ask that you consider both the applicant's submittal as well as the staff report with the recommended stipulations. Just taking a look at some of the site details right here, it's approximately 1.1 acres and it's zoned C1 light commercial. Some of the surrounding zoning uses to the north is C1 multi-family residential. To the east, across from State Route 89A, is currently vacant planned area development. To the south is C1 zoned commercial. And then to the west on the other side of Alamos Drive is both C1 and light industrial office and laboratory space. And then here are some photos for those adjacent sites. This is to the north. It's currently under construction, but the multifamily residential. And then on the bottom, we have just south of the parcel is the commercial use. And then taking into account the different directions here, this is on the top picture, this is State Route 89A, and then the planned area development. And then the picture on the bottom is across from North Alamos, and then that's the dentist office, the industrial and commercial. And then taking a look at the subject site, here is the view from North Alamos. I'll show you the site plan in just a moment, but right towards the middle will be the access point for the property. And then here's a look at that other side. This is the State Route 89A view. And then here is the site plan that was submitted. If you see on the left-hand side, North Alamos Drive runs, and then just right under where it says Alamos is the access point. It will be the only access point for the property, as there will be nothing connecting to State Route 89A. And then you could also see the 4 separate single-story duplexes, each divided down the center, creating 8 total units. Each unit will be approximately 2,000 square feet. And then, while normally a property or project like this would require a separate trash enclosure, the applicant has noted that there will be individual roll bins for each of the 8 units to be stored in the garage when not being picked up. And then here is a landscape plan detailing the variety of landscaping being used. And then off to the left-hand side where North Alamos runs, there's a 10-foot setback. And then on the right side where 89A runs, there's a 15-foot setback. And here are some building elevations. Now the duplexes face each other, so this will be kind of the view you get from each side. And then it is just under 17 feet tall. And then here is the rear elevations. And then some renderings for the project. This is the north view. You get a better look on the 15-foot landscape yard. And then out of frame, but to the left will be 89A. And then here's an eastern view of the same side. And then going to the other side, here's a western view. Gives you a better look at the access point going into Alamos. And then here is that same road, just a more southern view. And just a couple justifications for the project. The current land use designation, highway commercial, supports the C1 zoning, and then the proposed density is consistent with the zoning ordinance. And if the commission desires to approve this project, we do have some recommended staff stipulations. I'll just summarize those for you. The project shall be developed in conformance with what's approved at tonight's meeting. The project shall conform to the Code Review Board comment letter. The project shall comply with all applicable sections of the zoning ordinance. And then finally, a building permit application must be submitted and pursued within 24 months of approval. And that concludes my presentation. Myself, Director Real are here if you have any questions for staff. Otherwise, we do also have the applicant here to answer any questions.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Did any of the commissioners have any questions? Yes, sir.
I'm curious of the width of the entrance into the property?
Oh, let me go back to the site plan for you. Thank you for that, Commissioner Rothrock. There we go. And then you're talking about just the entrance from North Alamos Drive, correct?
Yeah, if, say a fire broke out and everybody wanted to get out of there quick, how much width is there?
Says 24 feet.
Correct, yeah. Sammy Real, Director Real, do you see the same thing, 24?
Okay.
I'm
least two
trying to
can
pull
get
it up
by.
right now, sorry.
Yeah, 24 driveway. Did you have any other questions,
No, I
Commissioner
didn't.
Arthur? Anybody else have any questions for staff? Are we going to hear from the applicant, or do you want to move right into seeing if the staff or the commissioners have any questions for the applicant?
Yep, applicant will be coming up for you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Could you move that to the elevation that comes in off of Alamos? Maybe, I think that might be.
Sorry, just got to use the clickers.
Oh, okay.
That one.
That one?
Yeah, thank you.
How we doing, folks? I came in front of you guys about, I'd say about a year and a half ago, for the current project that's finishing up. We got CO about 3 weeks ago, to the 17 and 15 Alamos, which is now addressed just to the west on Alamos of these four. You guys mentioned to me last time I was up in front of you that you love the idea of us using the C1 zone land for developments of multifamily for residential rentals in our area. And I am also here to confirm that they are turned into long-term rentals, not short-term rentals. They were sold and they are currently being rented out in fairly decently priced amounts. So here I am to try to do more, and hopefully going to be coming in front of you guys for a few more by the end of the year. So any questions, feel free to ask. I'm available.
Anybody have a question?
Okay, what's the fence gonna be made out of?
So we actually don't have a fence in our plans right now. That's just, I think my rendering people actually put that up because on that side, it backs up to the other units.
Okay.
So there wasn't a fence in our plans or permit. That was kind of skipped through on my rendering people. They kind of just added that in on their own accident.
Okay.
So I apologize about that.
And then, one question on the parking. I mean, it looks big enough, but are the tenants able to park outside of the garage?
So on these 4 units, yes. On the other 4 units, as it's planned and gone through permitting right now, yes. As long as our setbacks hold within community standards or Cottonwood standards, then yes, I planned on having 2 parking spaces in front of the garage for each one of the units. The other unit being, it was only a half acre, we didn't have enough space, so we made no parking and marked it as such on the previous plot.
And that's what I saw, that other one, so that's what I was just curious.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
This one's wider, so we're able to try to squeeze a little bit more in there. I moved some things around to where I could get just enough space in front for an apron in front to be able to make it work.
Okay, good, thank you.
Now, in terms of the trash, you said they're going to be regular trash. Are they going to put it out on Alamos?
Yes, sir, that's what the current tenants are doing now.
Okay.
So if I remembered right, when you came through the last time for the 2 that exist now, those were going to be sold as individual duplexes?
Yes, sir.
What's your plan here? You plan to sell 4 of those separately, or is this going to be one owner?
As of right now, I'm dealing with the same person that bought the first 2, and they're buying this as one unit, all 4 together, all in the same plot as one whole purchase. I have, the way I set these up though, because that is not technically under contract yet, and we're not under any legal binding contract, and he can back out at any time. The way I set this up though, it is set up in a way to where I can split the lots if I need to, in the same manner that I did the ones previously, to kind of protect myself in the build, from falling under due to, lack of financing.
So if you were to split these up, how are you going to deal with having potentially 4 owners managing one road?
The same way I did the other one. It's listed in our sales, in our sale documents for the maintenance of the road, between the units that are currently there.
Okay. Thank you.
So each parcel would purchase a portion of the maintenance schedule up to the shared area, which would be the easement for access only, and all four parcels would own a piece of that, so they would all be responsible for a piece of that.
Okay, thank you.
And that would be the same thing for the landscaping then?
Yes, sir.
Take care of the landscaping?
If they're in their parcel, they would have their own parcel's landscaping taken care of by themselves.
Okay.
If we sell them all as one unit, it'll all be on one owner, but if we sell them as individual units, just as the other ones, they're responsible for their landscaping individually. When I sell the properties though, it does come with a 1-year maintenance, landscaping maintenance plan, that I offer to them, no charge. So it comes from my landscape company and they take care of it for 1 year after purchase. And hopefully they just keep that going with the same company, but that's how I planned it out, is to encourage people to try to keep the property in the best shape as possible.
Since I wasn't here for your first project, can you explain to me how this does not meet the design standards?
What do you mean, ma'am?
Well, you have in your letter of intent that it doesn't meet new design standards, and you'd like to come before commission for
Yes, ma'am. So the design standards were just put forth. And there was some items that were changed in the process of me getting my first set done about 1.5 years, almost 2 years ago. And then in today, and because it came into effect right around the same time, one key point that it did change was the architectural differences between units. There is no architectural difference between the 4 duplexes, and that being a new rule that was I had already had this up to meet with you guys last month, but I didn't. I was in before, but during the process of switching everything over, I think mine kind of fell between the cracks a little bit. So I wasn't able to get before you guys last month before the design standards became into effect. Being that it's this month and the design standards are in effect, I know that the architectural differences aren't there, and that would cause me to have to go back to a redesign on each duplex.
So how many feet is that across the back of that?
Across the back
You've
of,
got 2 units, and you've got one long straight wall. How many feet is that?
across the very back, I think it's 82.
And there's no deviation,
There is porches in the back.
porches.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
If you look here on this area right here, there's 2 porches, or back porches that would break up the flat wall.
That are covered, or?
Yes, ma'am. They're covered.
Okay.
I think they're on one of the renderings as well. I'm not completely sure.
Yeah, I can't see them in that.
This is consistent with the houses you've built
Yes, sir.
currently. So it looks like it goes in far enough for a door that would go like into a master and into a kitchen? Is that kind of how you
goes
got it
into the
set
living
up?
room.
A living room.
Yes, sir. Which if I can get over to it, hold on. Can I zoom in on this thing?
There you go.
There's no way for me to zoom in on it. Nope. It's this door right here, and it goes into, now where's my rear elevation? There we go. If you look at this picture right here on the right-hand side of the picture, you can see my other 2 previous duplexes. They have porches that are covered with those doors that are going into the living room area.
No, but it's an inset porch.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It is an inset. It's not an outset.
On the backyard, it looks like for the fence, you have backyards, correct? A small backyard?
Yes, sir.
Are those going to be separated per unit? Or is it just one long backyard?
It's one long backyard right now. It's up to the client to decide how they want to separate out the units or how they're going to rent it out. I left that up to them.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Could we get staff back up, please?
Excuse me,
Thank you.
sir,
Yes, ma'am.
before you step off, can you please, just for the record,
Oh,
can you
yeah,
just say your
sorry.
name and then what company you're from?
My name is Christopher Moore. I am the project manager for NSI Construction, which is the general contractor on this project, but I'm also the owner of the land. So I'm the owner builder. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So a couple of the questions I heard coming up, one was, can you explain to us for our edification, give us a better understanding of the deviation from the current design that this is expecting us to accept?
As far as what was, and first of all, thank you for that, Chairman Garrison, but as far as what was approved prior, or?
What's being proposed to us today and what was approved recently, I'm taking it that because of the 4 units, and I'm not sure what that number is, that if he was to follow our current design standards, one of these could be stucco, one would have to be hardwood sided, one would have to be something brick. I mean, how would the deviations need to be done in order to meet the current design standards? Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you for that, Chairman Garrison. And I'll have Director Sam Real speak more on it as well.
I would say we haven't done a comprehensive analysis on the current design standards. Again, they were just made effective on Friday, April 17th. So when this project was being proposed, they had the option of waiting until the design standards became effective to be processed, or they could proceed in advance of those design standards. And so that was a common letter that I think we have applicants who are in that I don't want to say limbo land, but that were in between. We had the design standards, but they weren't adopted or effective yet. So I believe that's what the applicant is referring to. Otherwise, they conform to the design standards that were in place when the application was submitted.
But you can't tell us what the design standards would be today?
We haven't done the analysis to compare this project against the design standards that became effective on Friday.
If I may, Chair, I think what Director Real is getting at is also that it's not just a cut and dry, if you submitted this project today, it would look like this. There are options, and so it's like a collection of options that would have to be decided in the design process. And so there are a bunch of ways it could come out. One of them being, like you said, where they each have a different facade or something like that. Because the new design standards are, what we're looking for are more variation. And so that's, when she says she hasn't done the analysis, they just haven't gone through all the different options that it could be. But for tonight, we do want to encourage you to focus on the design standards that were in place when they applied for this. And
No, I get that. I'm trying to make sure everybody's educated, moving along the same direction, so the next time this comes up, which I don't expect will be too far down the road, we'll all have a better idea of what we're dealing with. So I understand what we have in front of us today. I'm just trying to figure out how this wouldn't be acceptable next month.
Got it. And what we will do, so if future projects, when they do meet the design standards, can be processed administratively, we will do so. When they don't meet the design standards, we'll make it clear in the staff report what standards they don't meet, so that it's readily available for anybody to understand why they're having to go through the public hearing process.
All right, perfect. And the next question I had was, the elevation showed fencing. There's no fencing planned. And I'm kind of curious, because of the setbacks are so tight between these units and the existing units on the parcel next door, why does our design standards not require a fence if it's residential to residential? Is that the instance?
That is correct.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So I would assume that whoever buys each of these individual duplexes would have the ability to go in and fence their backyard to make it private if they so choose, but otherwise it's an open space. So, okay, I have one more question. Sorry, everybody, I'm stepping on toes. Anybody else have any questions? I'm a little nervous with the idea that the two parcels that face 89A are going to have a larger than normal area that they'll be responsible for. And if we get absentee owners in these, that are buying these units and then renting them out, and they choose not to maintain the landscaping, how do we go back and make sure that that gets done? What do we have in our ordinance that would make sure that the landscaping actually stays in place after it's installed?
So landscaping, as it's shown on the plans, any area that is required to be landscaped, if they are not, and we receive a complaint, then we would have code enforcement. It would be an enforcement situation that they would have to address. Just as if they decided not to irrigate or they let it overgrow with weeds. We have provisions in our code today that they have to maintain the landscaping that is required by code.
Okay, thank you. Can the applicant come back up for a minute? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So you heard the question. I'm a little concerned because around each of these areas that you're showing it in the gray or the light tan decomposed granite, I would guess is what
Yes,
it's
sir.
representing. They would be responsible as an individual duplex for that area?
So actually, there's no one unit that would have any more space than the other unit because it's almost exactly equally split. If I was to split the units, the 15-foot setback off of 89A is exactly equal to the 15-foot setback between the units plus a 10-foot setback between the units. So there's a 15-foot by 89A and a 10-foot in between one unit and the next. And then when you get into the next unit's property, it's actually 15-foot again, and then 10 foot to the front of Alamos. So each unit has the exact same square footage of land to cover. And the way we set it up with the last one's closing was that they had to maintain the landscaping per plan based off of our grading and drainage plan and our maintenance, or our landscape plan that was submitted to the city.
All right, because I thought I heard you in your presentation say that this zone, right, we're looking at right here is 30 feet. And then
So-
you have the 10-foot from that to the house itself.
So the edge of my property line is the only one that I can be responsible for. And the 30 feet that is going from that dark tan area to the 89A is actually ADOT. It has nothing to do with us.
So that
On
may
the other
not be-
previous lot, I took upon myself to kind of do a little extra. I did maintenance into the ADOT area. I added some wood chips and a couple of plants to try to keep the overgrowth away from our lot. But we didn't go into our easement or into their area or mess with any of their stuff. We made sure we had a good buffer.
So those trees don't exist, is what you're saying?
No, sir, no, they don't.
So how many trees will exist?
If you go back to the landscape plan here, the landscape plan's showing that there is going to,
6 on 89A?
looks like it, on the tan section, which would be where the white section is, those little circles it's not in color because it's not part of us. And my rendering company decided to put those in because they saw the
Okay.
circles there.
No, I appreciate that. I was under the impression we were going to get another fairly large landscape zone out there that would help separate the road from the units, so, thank you. Does
Yes, sir.
anybody else have any questions while we got the applicant back up at the stand again?
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Hellman, you have any words, any final things you want to share about this project?
Not at this time, thank you.
How about you, Commissioner Kennedy?
Is there no requirement for any kind of fencing between the units and 89A? Okay.
I think 89, I think ADOT's got a barbed wire, that runs down that right away, but that's it.
So that's a voluntary thing with other developments?
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of them, I think your larger subdivisions and they'll basically have landscaping because everything tends to be set in further, but in this case, they're going to be buttoned right up against the 10-foot offset of the property line with the ADOT.
Okay.
Commissioner Camilla, Vice Chair Camilla.
I think it's a good use of the C1, and I think it fits with those other ones that you built there. So I don't know how much you're going to be, but I assume they're less than house, so a little more affordable, like you stated. So I think it's going to fit in right with those other ones that you have built in there. So
Sorry, you're directing me, so I came up here.
no, that's all right.
They're actually priced at $699.9. So if you do the math on a single-family residence, each unit is 1,598 square feet. No, sorry, 1,458 square feet. So it comes out to be roughly less than, just a little slight less than a single-family residence. Our goal is actually to get local people like me in their mid-30s that are looking to buy a property that they can supplement their income. That wasn't the case with the first two. Hopefully, as I move forward, I'm getting a lot of traction from locals that are looking to invest in our area and have rental properties. I'm getting backup offers from locals. So that's kind of the goal.
Cool, thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Rothrock, you have any questions or any final comments on this project?
I think without those, if those trees aren't out there, it's going to be rather loud, but I think that's part of the issue, or not an issue really, just how it's going to be there, given that you have a highway as well and airplanes flying overhead too.
We called it Horizon for a reason. The last one's called, what was it? Runway.
Okay.
If you look at this picture of our other units, you can see that we placed, oh gosh, don't tell me I don't have it. On this area towards the 89A, we placed a group of green giants there, which are super fast growing plants that will actually give us some sound barrier. That was kind of the goal between that. I think that was one of my requirements last time, was that I create some kind of sound buffer with a certain amount of landscaping between the 89A and the units for that very reason.
That sounds good.
All right.
Glasgow.
Yes, sir. Commissioner, you have any questions or comments?
I was glad to hear it was the same builder from the previous, because that's what was one of my questions, because I know that's there, and I'm glad it's the same, because you did a good job on the first one, and I think this is a great placement for where you got it, and especially with the names. Someone moves in there, they shouldn't complain about an airport.
It's in our purchasing agreement that they're aware of the air traffic and everything. We're trying to buy 2 more acres down the road, so get ready for us to be back. So,
Thank you.
yes, sir.
All right, and I guess my comments are, we need housing. I think, like you said, I think this is a great opportunity for somebody that could buy the set, live in one, rent the other one out. I think that would be optimal versus buying them and renting them both out. And then, in this case, all of a sudden you've got 4 owners that are maybe not even on site that are all trying to negotiate to figure out how to keep the place maintained. So that'll be an ongoing problem, I think, for you, but and the people that live there, but not necessarily the city. As I was with the last set of 2 that you did, I'm not all that inclined to believe that's the best location for housing. I think it's kind of funky to have it in the middle of what is becoming basically industrial. But it is kind of a little island, I guess, in the middle of all of that. And the others are going in, they look nice, and the landscaping went in real quick, which helped. dress up that, and I think, like you said, the plants that it got put across the 89A threshold, they seem to be taking up pretty quickly, so, that'll create that separation, at least visually, if not audibly as well. So, we'll see what happens. The one, concern I had with the other one that is ringing true is that, you've got a lot of people parking in the right-of-way, in the road, which was against the agreement that you had with the city and the fire marshal. And I see that you're going to have these Ts down here. That's going to become another parking space, even though it's not supposed to. So I would hope, that, regardless of how much you paint red and put up signs, you're still getting a lot of people that are doing what they're not supposed to be. So hopefully you're able to take care of that a little better in this instance, because it'll be a little more impactful, I think, for the other residents in this area. But otherwise, the first two look good. This will be another addition to that, and it'll, I think, just add more to that, more value to the whole. So good luck as you go forward. It looks like you'll get through this process okay.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else have any final questions or concerns? If not, we'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
I move to approve DR-26-005 for an 8-unit apartment complex, subject to the stipulations indicated in the staff report.
Vice Chair made a motion. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Commissioner Glasscock made a second. Any other questions or concerns? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Passes unanimous. Thank you very much. Good luck. Okay, now we have call to the public, and we actually do have some white sheets tonight. So first up, we are going to have Rebecca Drake. Can I have Miss Drake come up? If you could please state your name and where you're from and your address, and then you have 3 minutes to let us know what you think.
My name is Rebecca Drake. Hello. I'm from Cottonwood, over here on 678 South 12th Street, and I'm here to let you know that I oppose the rezoning for the Z-26-004 and the GP-26-002, requesting for a change to R3. Okay, it's just way too big of a project for the area. We just found out about this Tuesday, and I don't know how much, and I'm sure you guys know about it. So the developer said there's going to be 251 units, and that's 400 parking spaces across the street from my house, and 12th Street just can't take that. As it is, the road is backed up all the way beyond Christian Care many times during the day, and the same with the right-hand side of the road on 89A. So it's a real bottleneck, a slowdown, and tons of traffic on 12th Street to Main Street over there, or 260 where Chase is. Anyway, we'd like to not have that happen. We are we're agricultural with 1 acre. It's a complete opposite of a high-density R3 situation, and you could see that we've positioned our homes to enjoy the view, and this 3-story building will block it. And so we're opposed, but mostly, there's other things with the traffic and the accidents, and we'll continue with other people's help to get the accident reports on that, talk to the fire department about there's a fire over there, because we've got Christian Care with lots of elderly. We're going to have this big colossal unit. Can people really get out of there when it's blocked up? And there's Circle K coming in on the corner across from AutoZone. Now cars are going to they're going to slow down to pull into Circle K or turn, and that's going to slow down and stop the intersection at 12th Street and 89A. So I'll be sure to I want to see and find out more also on the ADOT studies. Anyway, so what else? since I just found out, like, I could come and do this talk. We're not too organized, but we will be. I'd like to know how to make a presentation on that board with the elevations and such. I think, a long time ago, Cottonwood roads were not designed for this kind of infrastructure, and it's not supporting it. And it does look like they could make an exit through 16th Street, and we'll be sure to let all the Crestview area people know what's going on, because no one likes people cutting through their area, and 12th Street is a feeder for, the Verde Villages even, and they're using it. It's busy. Okay.
Thank you very much. Just so you know, this is called the public. We're not allowed to rebut or maybe have some sharing of information where some of what you said may not necessarily be accurate. This isn't the format where we can do that, but I think that maybe you could get with staff and they may be able to help you understand some of the differences between the subdivision you're in versus the land across the street from you. They are different. But like I said, we're not here to talk about it.
Well, I understand they're different, but they're complete opposites. There's bufferings and there's things to consider in a community, but even if you didn't want to consider our view or devaluing our land, that 12th Street can't handle everything in Cottonwood and around the corner here with the 89A. I mean, there's just so much going on.
Nope, I hear you. I appreciate your concerns, and we will take that into consideration in the future.
Okay, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you. Not us. That's the council. Brenda Eldred. Miss Eldred, could you please state your name and where you're from? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brenda Eldred. I live at 830 South 12th Street. I've been there almost 35 years. It's a Verde Palisades, and like she said, I might be the only one with a horse still in the neighborhood, but yeah, the views would really be pretty disparaging. We had planted a lot of trees because we used to have Babbitt's Lumberyard there, and now it's an RV storage place, but I am here to speak about, and I know you can't talk about it, but I did talk to staff about it, and from what my fear is that the potential buyer wants to max the limit on how much capacity that he could put in a 35-foot building amount of residents. And I think, it could potentially, with the amount, it could be maybe 1,000 people live in that almost 9 acres. And boy, it would be nice to have like this previous guy building, and like Bill Jackson, who built the place right next to it, do something classy for a higher density, but not what is in a big city. What is our, what are we, 11,000, 13,000 people to be building these mini skyscrapers? It's kind of crazy. Anyway, I am here just to let you know that I'm concerned about that. And the water, we always hear about the water, and then some of the people that were advocating the concern for the water are promoting all of this huge growth of complexes. Additionally, people don't want to live in apartments. So they're stuck there because of the cost that we all recognize. But then they end up not being happy, and it would just be really sad to just fill our city with miserable people. Anyway, I did have a few more notes, but I can't see, well, hold on.
You got time.
Yeah, I do. The road, they redid the road, and we in good faith signed an agreement with that. We were lied to because they said they weren't going to change the grade in front of our house. We lost a lot of privacy in that agreement because we had put a wall up around our house to have some privacy. We had little kids, and we just wanted them to be protected and the noise. Recently, in the last few years, I have put my husband and I have put almost $60,000 worth of new windows in our house to help deal with the traffic. We deal with boom boxes, speeding. Sometimes these cars sound like a rocket going down our street. The project had been done. We lived in dust for 2 years, and then they put that in, and we were saying, well, this isn't too bad, but then 6 months later, they went in, they tore out all the asphalt, and they put in a really rough asphalt. And it's just like, there's weeds growing up in the asphalt between that. You guys aren't taking care of what you already have, and then you want to do even more. Anyway, there's been a lot of impact to us in Verde Palisades. Thank you.
I would recommend you both show up at the council meeting. You can express your views to the council.
We will, and I'll be passing out flyers and letting people in the community know about it that are impacted by 12 streets.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for sharing your concerns with us tonight. All right, that is it. Were there any suggestions for future meeting topics? Is there anything anybody would like to talk about? I guess for me, it would be nice, it seems like in the last few meetings, and I was gone for a few months, that, we've adopted a lot of changes to the ordinances and the code, and it would maybe be good to, as staff becomes more familiar with all the adoptions, that maybe we come back and educate the board on the commission on kind of where we're going with all that, so that when we do look at this and we have a comment that's made, from the applicant, we actually understand why they are making the comment, so maybe we don't have to take time out of this hearing process to deal with that. But I think it just helps us also have a better understanding of what we're looking at when we start seeing plans, because I think we're going to start seeing more of this type of submittals. So other than that, anybody else have anything they'd like to talk about? Or
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I noticed today that the former restaurant at 89A and 260 is boarded up. I think this is a real opportunity for the city to buy that property and petition ADOT to build the mother of all roundabouts there, so that if our community is going to continue to grow, that we won't have that traffic any worse down there at that intersection. I don't know how we can exert pressure on the city council to come up with those funds, but I think time is of the essence here. We won't get an opportunity like this, who knows when.
I think, as we explained to the two ladies who came up and talked to us, that maybe going to the city council and standing up call public might be the way to get them to at least be aware of the opportunity. They currently own 2 buildings they're not using, so I'm not sure getting them by a third is going to be helpful, but you never know with this council. So by all means, show up, and I think it's a great idea. It was presented back when, before Black Bear took over that property, when it was still a Sizzler and it was defunct, that was an opportunity to fix that corner, and it wasn't taken advantage of then. I think they even had some ADOT funding at that point, but those days are gone. So anyway, might be worth pursuing to ask the council. Anything else anybody would like to talk about? If not, I think that's it. We can call the meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much for coming tonight.
Thank you.